Hello and welcome to the 40th annual Discraft Great Lakes Open presented by Grip 6. We are here in Milford, Michigan, and you're watching the Disc Golf Pro Tour on JomezPro with Nate Sexton, Jeremy Koling, and Paul Ulibarri.
And you guys need to go over to JomezPro.com right now to check out our latest drop of hats and t-shirts. They are splendid. They are in stock. Go check those out right now because we're looking good. You'll look good too.
You know who else is looking good?
Me.
You said that.
Oh, Simon.
Simon is looking good.
Yeah, Simon Lizotte is him and Ricky Wysocki are the only two players on tour right now with 2 wins. It's the first time since 2005 that we haven't had more than 2 wins for any player thus far in the season. So it's it's been evenly distributed this season. A lot of unique winners on tour this year.
Yeah, and don't just pass right by somebody who's with us in the booth and Nate Sexton, who we're going to get to watch play today. And
making my D-Glow debut.
D-Glow debut. Corey Ellis.
Played
very well last year.
Not making his D-Glow debut, 3rd place last year. And Andrew Presnell also on our card today. He has an average finish at this course of 26th place, but only 4 starts. Looking to do a little bit better this year. These stats are helping us out a lot. Statmando coming in with a lot of great statistics looking at the breakdown of today's card. And like you said, Nate, this is your first trip here.
Yeah, and this is the first hole, and it's the first of quite a few big daddies on this course because this one's going downhill 516 blind to the right. Great view of it here. You can't see around those trees at all from the tee. Out of bounds waiting for you if you straighten your shot out, and some terrible rough if you're coming up significantly short.
I believe there are 4 par 3s that are over 500 feet on this course. Each one between 50 to 75 feet in elevation drop.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to have all that in one course. Simon goes big turnover, a little bit of headwind. This needs to get down, but it goes straight through.
Oh, wow, onto the path of her hole 2.
Fortunate, I think.
Yeah, he's going to have an open look from distance.
It looks like you guys have kind of a ripper of a wind right here, too.
Yeah, I was going to a pretty overstable Halo Destroyer. I was worried about the flip over and heading towards the out of bounds. Definitely wind was a huge factor on this shot.
It's tight. This is the way you want to throw this hole if you do have that headwind, but not if you have a very overstable disc, because that's going to put you in a bit of an awkward spot tucked around the corner.
My name is Corey Ellis. I'm from Barboursville, West Virginia, and I've been playing disc golf since '99. My dad took me out when I was 5 years old and started playing tournaments around like 2009. Got our PDJ numbers in 2010 and really got hooked into playing tournaments. My dad and I are both super competitive, and that kind of helped fuel my fire to, always try to beat him. It's the competitive nature just kind of drove us into keep getting better and better and better. As a teenager, I was, a bit of a hothead, and that was kind of my downfall. It's all just a mental battle. That's really what it comes down to. It's just becoming, more mentally stable. And I kind of struggled with alcohol. My struggle with alcohol kind of started as I was, getting into my prime of drinking when everybody turns 21. And then when I became a server, you get stressed out after work and you want to go, have some beers. It's an addiction, it really is. And people who are addicted to it do not see it. They try to blame everything else on not the alcohol. It's never the alcohol, it's something else. It took my fiance, really helping me see, that I had a problem. And I thank her so much. I honestly feel like she saved my life. There's no telling what could have happened if she wasn't there for me. With my recovery from alcohol, I feel like it's dramatically helped my mental aspect of the game, which is the most important part. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the mental stability to perform, you never will. My goals for this weekend is to win. I mean, I know I have the ability to do it. I just have to put 3 solid rounds together, and I feel like I'll be in contention for the win. There's not a doubt in my mind that I have the ability.
So much strength Corey Ellis, and the vulnerability of letting people in on that is just that's strength in itself. But this man right here has a ton of focus lately. I mean, we're talking about the player who had the #1 C1 and C2 stats in the 2021 season. I can't recall another player ever doing something like that. And you're going to see a strong game from Corey Ellis.
And you hear him say that he has no doubt in his ability to win, and I don't think anybody else has much doubt either. I mean, he has so much power, and he's such a strong putter. This is a great type of course for his game, in my opinion.
And there's something about also saying that, and you can kind of see it on their face whether they believe it or not. And I believe him.
Oh yeah,
like he said that with conviction, and I love seeing that in Corey Ellis.
No really great drives on hole 1 from our card, but this is a hole that is really tough to birdie. It's actually the 3rd hardest hole on the course, and it's the starting hole.
Thumber alert.
Look at that.
Wow, those are some tall.
It's thorny in there too.
Tall and thorny bushes over there.
Whoa, had to go through the trees. That's a great little scramble shot.
I didn't know where the basket was.
Well,
but I knew it was in that general direction.
it certainly was.
I was going to say, good guess.
Yeah.
Could have gone real bad.
Corey from, was that deep circle 2, or is that kind of mid circle 2? A little short.
Yeah, he's out there pretty far, especially with the wind picking up.
For par. That is a solid first putt of the tournament into a little bit of, was that a headwind? It looked like it kind of danced up and down.
Yeah. I was stressing.
That is a solid putt. And I guess we missed Simon's approach, but he was pretty far behind the pin, didn't really have a good look. Or did he? I mean, did he run it?
I think I was still in the bushes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was in there the whole time Corey was filming all that profiled stuff and doing those interviews. I was just fighting my way back into the bushes.
I want to give a shout out while we look at hole 2, this 680-foot par 4 that goes uphill and plays like it's 800 feet, to one Dave Felberg. This start this weekend is his 200th Elite Series event.
Wow.
In his career, in those 199 starts thus far, he has 28 wins, 71 top 3s, and 104 top 5s. Over 50% top 5s in those 199 starts.
I mean, one of the greatest to ever do it. No real way to say it other than that. Dave, an incredible player.
If you want to win a big tournament, if there's any big tournament that you want to win, Dave's won it at some point.
Right.
Big drive from Simon there, just on the left side rough, barely. This thing got away from me in a serious way. Way too high, but kind of got away with it. It's not far, though. It's way down at the bottom of the hill.
If that gets into the foliage, you're in trouble, but you're actually not really restricted to throw, are you, from down in that spot?
And this is perfect.
That's in the shelf?
Yes.
Oh, that's the shelf we're talking about on our practice round. That is hard to get that much distance up the hill.
Yeah, if he had any more height, I feel like he would have made it to the next shelf right there. That kind of came in at the exact height of that shelf.
Yeah.
Turned over, panning out.
Yeah,
solid.
Yeah,
solid.
It's going to be an awkward run up, though. That's a very steep slope right where Presnell is, but in the middle.
Just have a low ceiling to deal with here, but
it just takes all the guesswork out of play. There's no play for the birdie, so, I mean, it makes life easy in a way.
yeah.
I think it's the first time I've ever seen footage that really accurately describes the slope in a way that you could feel it there with the camera angle. I mean, it is just 30 degrees uphill.
Yeah, I mean, they call it a toboggan for pretty obvious reason. This is all like snowboarding and sledding in the winter, so it's serious hills. And Simon, tough lie, but throws a great Anheuser forehand all the way up on top.
Ton of power. And this is a weapon you might see quite a bit today, folks. Corey Ellis is in love with the standstill, and why would you not when you have that much power driven, just missing the height by a little bit, but that had plenty of power behind it to get all the way to the pin.
Absolutely.
Looking at about 200 in.
Little less, but
Okay, a little heavy on the hyzer, but when you're that short.
yeah.
Could you
all
even
good.
see the top of the pin from there?
When I jumped,
Okay.
I could. If you would have been able to see it.
And this is something that you and I were talking about in our practice round, thinking about it'd be cool to see footage of this place. Corey's birdie putt comes up a little long. See this place in the winter in its natural habitat.
Oh, it's on YouTube, man. I went and checked.
Oh, you did check it
Oh, yeah.
out.
There's some
Okay.
sledding happening. Big time floater from Simon. And this is new, kind of new for him. We've seen it at a couple tournaments lately.
OTB.
He's got this floater game going. And like we've really haven't hardly seen him miss one.
Look at that thing. Just drop in. I mean, that's Steph Curry from half court, folks. That is beautiful. And with a forehand approach from out of position.
Yeah.
The worst drive of the group, I'd say.
Not, I would think mine was worse, but because his was so far up. But yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't in his garden spot. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's not birdieing ever from where Sexton was.
Yeah, I would.
No
yeah,
one could.
no.
It was low ceiling in the entire hill.
Yeah, that's right. But still, that's kind of stealing one from the course when you're out of position going forehand approach. You're just trying to climb the hill and give yourself an easy 4. I mean, you're not really thinking 3. I would say most players aren't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
9%, only 11 players able to pick up the birdie 3.
Well, we've already gone 500 and then 680. Finally, time for a long hole. 915 feet going downhill with the third OB down the left the entire way. Really punishing rough on the right, and it can sneak up on you over there. That wall we just flew over is not out of bounds. It's just kind of an obstruction to the player's view. That little hillside can be difficult, but it's one of the easier holes on the course, I'd say.
Yeah, it's
At the end of the day.
It feels like one you must get after playing 1 and 2. They're so difficult, and then you get to this one, and it's just kind of a bombs away. You just got to make sure you don't turn it over or hyzer out. This is going to be just fine.
One tricky part about this is the wind. You can look down there and see the flags doing one thing, but it doesn't necessarily impact your disc in the way that you're going to. So you kind of have to get that out of your mind, throw that kind of straight shot, whatever you're playing, but be confident in that because the wind is very gusty.
Yeah, and I got scared of the wind here and ended up going to a Firebird, which I hadn't practiced at all because I was worried about it flip over towards the out of bounds. Able to kind of keep it out of the really thick stuff, but very short drive.
Anything on the right side of the fairway is going to make it very difficult to see the pin.
This
Corey,
needs to get down.
Yeah, this is heading left, and I think this is going to be out of bounds. Yeah, that's going to put him in.
It's safe.
Oh, that is safe,
but not by a lot.
Just over that hill, it's so hard to stay in bounds once you clear that little ridge. But as I was saying, over to the left side is ideal, but you are pushing that out of bounds line. If you're on the right side, you're going to have a completely blind approach.
And Presnell going with the drone mid-range, but turning it over.
A rare miss for Presnell. When he has that drone in hand, usually good things happen.
Nothing good's happening in there. Little pitch out. The farthest you can get is probably like 300 feet.
And this also heading towards the OB.
And just staying on top of that ridge safe.
Now, honestly, that left side is pretty dang forgiving where that OB line is. You have a lot of room to work with.
Did you even care to range it? Or?
I did, and it was 440.
Okay.
And I really wanted to throw forehand second. And then I was like, I guess I got to try a backhand, and I absolutely shanked it.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
I
a
think
really
so.
nice shot. They really named this hat the Amigos hat instead of Friends. I like that. That's clever.
It's really good as well.
That's a nice shot. Presnell needs to put this one close to save the par.
One skip and into the circle.
That's a nice shot as well. And once again, are you in jumping to see the pin, or can you just
I
see
could
it?
see the top of it from
Yeah.
here. And I'm probably 170, maybe.
And that's just the ratty boy, right?
Yep.
Couple easy little cleanups from the card now. One for par. Oh, yours is for par, but that's not even easy. That's just a gimme.
This one for a birdie.
Oh. That's
It's an easy cleanup, but he did not do his chores.
yeah, that's sweeping the dirt underneath the rug and saving it for later.
Yeah.
Wow, surprising miss. Corey Ellis able to pick up the birdie though with a really nice approach. But for this card, one down feels pretty bad. I mean, it's not necessarily easy. I mean 915 feet par 4. Danger to get into right and left. But it feels that way after just what you've dealt with just to start the round.
Yeah. Hole 4 is a 580-foot par 4 where you'd like to get left off the tee just a little bit. Not all the way left where your line's going to be blocked, but right about here is the landing zone you're looking for to set up this relatively short uphill approach. Keep in mind that behind the basket, it drops off really fast, so speed control is important on the second shot.
Now this actually is the easiest hole in the course. 53% of the field getting the birdie here on 4. You know that the back 9 is so difficult. One of the hardest 4-hole finishing stretches we have on tour. You got to get the early birdies, and that means you got to pick up hole 4.
I have played 3 rounds now with Corey Ellis, and I'd never played with him before 2022. And I think he's cracking my top 5 favorite people to play with.
Oh, that's great.
He is like so talented and so positive, and he likes to talk, and I like to talk too.
You're making his day right now. That's
So
for
I've had a great time the couple rounds I've played with him this year.
He's a fantastic young man. And it's always good to play with someone who has a ton of skill and is enjoyable to be around. And
his putting inspires me to try to be better. When I'm watching him make like every 45-footer he looks at.
that Firebird hyzers out on you a little bit, and that's going to make the angle for the approach not ideal.
Yeah, it wasn't a good shot.
But you got a little kick out, which is going to give you something. You'll probably have some sort of skip up there, tight skip around the corner, I'm guessing. But
Yeah, here she comes, I think.
oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's really tight.
Got to go under this first tree.
Wow, what a forward skip inside the circle. That's a great effort from there. You really have to hug that down the right side all the way down. Corey with a little steep on the hyzer release, and that left him with a little bit of a tunnel, but he flips up the hyzer perfectly. That's going to be in the bullseye.
Yeah, underrated shot there. I mean, that is tough to stand in that position and be able to do full follow through, hitting that gap with the staggered trees like that. That was beautiful.
And that is the drone thrown properly from Presnell. That's what you normally see when he has that disc in hand.
And now you see what happens if you go too far left. Simon with the biggest drive in the group, but forced to go to the knee, rolling a splice up the hill.
Wow. Come on, Simon.
Really good shot. Like I said, the backside is steep, so just the perfect weight on this as we look at it again, and a really overstable disc. So he has to throw it very vertical, just perfect touch to get it to curl and slow down right next to the basket.
Going up the hill that slopes away, if you get that wrong in any way, that could go a long way from the pin.
Oh, and that's good stuff right there.
That's two nice
Were you
C1 knockdowns.
thinking off the tee when that kind of birdie was out of it, or were you like, oh, I think I might still be able to make something happen?
I thought I was out of it, but then Corey and Simon told me I wasn't, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll try. And they were right. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm dead over there, huh? And they said, no, I think you'll have something. They know more about the course than I do.
Well, Simon able to clean up the birdie this time, and we are going to have a star frame here on 4, as you'd hope and expect. These guys deliver. That was a cool commercial. And I just found out that it was edited by our Kevin Toma of the Jomez crew. And I'm not surprised because Kevin does super sick work.
Yeah, that was an awesome commercial.
Hole 5, par 3, short 480. Downhill through the trees. Beautiful hole. Probably the best hole on the course. Probably one of the best holes of the year, honestly.
Yeah.
Really a fair gap. A little bit of OB right, a little bit of OB long. Obviously just a beautiful disc golf hole.
If you played... Well, let's watch this shot first.
Okay.
Let's just watch this beautiful, perfectly straight thrown disc. Just... absolute perfection.
Wow. Mid-range.
Okay.
That didn't move.
Just a mid-range. All you need. So good.
Wow. What I was going to say is if you played this course before 2021 and you haven't played since, you're feeling like you were given a disservice that you weren't able to play this hole, I feel like. It's just such a good hole. It was such a good find when Nate Heinel discovered it and built this one. And with the addition of the grass fairway as opposed to the red mulch from last year, as Simon, does he just also put it in the circle? Maybe a bit of a bad bounce?
Yeah, the skip wasn't great. I thought it was going to push forward.
And you're going forehand orc. This is going to take a lot of power.
I want it to flip over a little bit. I was just kind of thinking I felt some wind. This is now cruising towards out of bounds.
That could be in danger.
But in fact, it was safe by about a foot or two, thankfully for me.
So we're going to do a form review here. The IDEO Move with Purpose form review.
Yeah, take a look at my forehand here. You can notice my footwork. I use something I kind of jokingly refer to as the Sexton hop there, going twice on the right foot in order to kind of load up that big transfer onto my left and bring my hips through the shot. Obviously leading with my elbow and trying to engage my lower body to generate power.
Look at the powerful follow through across the body and the counterbalance with your leg swinging behind your front foot that really allows you to get compact and really deliver a lot of power. It doesn't look like it's a lot of power, I'm going to be honest. But it is a ton of power.
But I'll tell you what, if you were a bowler, ooh-wee with that follow-through.
Oh my God.
Then we're talking some power.
Or an Olympic speed skater. I mean, I think you could have been, either one of those would have been.
It may, I think for bowling, it might not be too late.
Speed skater, still not too late. I don't know. A little dart up, that's fine. Like you said, you're about a couple feet safe, so getting out of there with a par, you're ecstatic.
Definitely.
Dad putt.
Oh, gosh. Dad putt.
I don't know why. I
love that. Dad putt.
I'm starting to feel like he doesn't need his old putt.
What is he doing?
This floaty thing is so nasty.
I've played with him between OTB and now in tournament play, and he tried like 3 or 4 of these floaties. They didn't go in. It just requires the Jomez crew to be there.
Ah.
And now he's perfect on them.
Yeah, and pretty big ones, like 45 footers.
Yeah, he hit the one on the island, and then he hit the 2 on hole 9, and now 2 this round. I mean, he's 5 for the last 5 on Jomez coverage with the dad putt. I love that name, Paul.
Yeah.
2 birdies. Corey Ellis just dropping it in, and he's got a little turkey right now, 3 in a row.
Hole 6, par 4, 519 feet, left to right, up to this little landing zone. Anything from there all the way up to this little ditch. You'll see some rollers actually get into here if thrown well enough, and then you go across the ditch onto a really slopey green. I mean, this is just a great disc golf hole right here.
I love how there's some par fours that seem unreachable, and then there's a couple that are in the low fives, which is really short, that are incredibly specific with the shot shape, as you just saw Corey Ellis fit the shape perfectly. This hole and hole 8 are both 500 and 519, and they're, I mean, I'm not going to say incredibly difficult, but they're good holes.
Look at this shot.
And there you go, Paul. Like you said, a roller can get down into the ditch, and Simon, that's a great tee shot. The forehand can get a little tricky here because it's, even though it's moving right, that back edge gets in the way quickly if you want to get a lot of distance. You really have to chip off and throw a short tee shot. Otherwise, you are putting those left side trees in the way.
Yeah, my strategy on this hole is certainly to have this second shot be the more difficult of the two. I'm just kind of trying to set it up. Simon the other way around. He's going big off the tee to set up the easier second.
Yeah, I remember somebody talking about that, kind of the short shot and then have the longer shot in. I forgot who it was.
Sometimes people say stuff like that.
Yeah, that was weird. This is parked.
Wow, what a great second shot.
Probably 320 from there, just
Okay,
through the tunnel. Look at this one though. Takes the outside gap.
What a wonderful turnover. Presnell in the bullseye.
The gap he hit was like 6 feet wide, and it was like for sure on purpose. It was a very impressive shot.
And a simple 1-2 step, a little inside there for Corey. Is he going to get away with it though?
He's probably 55 feet. Took a little bounce backwards. As he was standing there throwing that, I was just thinking how cool disc golf is, because I could just not ever imagine going backhand from that spot. You know, and just the different ways you can do things.
Simon, a good approach. Corey Ellis, make it 4 in a row now.
He was frustrated with himself after the approach. And on the way down the hill, he's going, come on, Corey, let's make a big putt. I overheard him saying that.
Oh my
and then he just went
wow.
down there and made it reality by just slinging it in from way below the basket.
So hard to get the power all the way up that hill. That is so steep. And obviously, that's a great birdie from Simon as well. And obviously, when you're down there, it makes the basket, the window.
Yeah, the catching area.
Yeah, very, very small. So that was a lot harder than he made it look, for sure.
And another star frame, this time on hole 6. Much more difficult to get the star frame here, but some unique ways to do it. We have the layup forehand.
Honestly, one of my favorite holes on the course, that one, just because it's dealer's choice. Whatever you want to do, however you want to play it.
Looking at hole 7, par 4, 667 feet over the valley to start, and you'd like to land your drive right about here to set up roughly 200 to 250 feet into the basket. You guys have been calling this one the turtle's back because it's got this big rounded green, definitely sloping away in all directions. Placement's pretty key. You'd like to make that second gap nice and wide, so right side is good.
I also thought it was so cool. The first time I came here in 2013, I was caddying for some of the FPO players as Corey just blasts his drive up the hill. And as they worked their way up to the green, there was this like huge beach volleyball sized turtle.
What?
Like, you know, like the circumference of a beach volleyball, like a freaking huge snapping turtle on the top of the turtle back.
Wow.
It was perfect.
Simon has the same mistake. He's gotten into the woods on the right side, though that's the better side to miss on if you had a choice.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody go that wide and go that far in the woods on the right, so that'll be interesting to see what they got. And you're just playing placement.
Does that get to the top?
Almost.
Almost. Okay. And we've been talking about that, how big of a difference just being a little bit down the hill versus all the way at the top. That second shot is a lot trickier when you're not at the top of the hill. And we got a third drive turning over. Is this going to hyzer back in time? No, I don't think so.
A little breeze going on there?
A little bit.
There was? Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So you're going to have to do a little bit of incline here on the run up.
I'm going for this little V gap up high.
Yeah, sure you are, buddy. Yeah, sure you are.
And I nailed it.
Oh my gosh. That's
Missed the fairway, but nailed the gap I was looking at.
yeah, that's smart. Smart play. Wow, what a result.
Prez was going for that V gap as well, but it's a good miss.
Yeah.
Right down the
Yeah,
fairway.
when you miss and hit the fairway, it's positive. Simon's actually in a pretty good spot. He was saying, wow, there's a gap back here. This is great.
It's really great.
Shouldn't be there, but
It's one of those
that's
ones
awesome.
where the gallery has no idea that you have this big gap, and then you look like this superhero for throwing it through the woods.
And
you're
look
just
where look where Corey landed. Like, he's not even off the fairway.
oh my gosh.
It like good. I said congrats. Like, I said great job to the gallery dodging that thing, because it like hyzered back late apparently, or took a kick. I don't know, but he was 2 feet off the fairway.
Andrew, C2 putt for the birdie. Oh my gosh. And if he makes that, I mean, I'm thinking the rest of the group is just feeding off the energy, and they're going to easily make theirs. But Simon delivers the birdie, and we've got C1 Master Corey, who's going off 4 consecutive birdies, coming up with a 27-foot birdie putt. Maybe a little bit less than that.
5 under for Simon and Corey. I mean, that is like dream start.
And with
scenario.
Simon missing almost a tap in.
Right.
Almost a tap in on hole 3.
Yeah, it's crazy.
3 under, not so much.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad start for you at 3 under.
That felt great.
No, first time playing this course, you know how difficult this can be. 3 under is a great start.
They say, like, you're the greatest of all time, but in my mind, that is not true. There are 2 other women that I'm tied with. Until I get that 6th world title, that is still up for debate. So this is so important to me to cement my name in disc golf history as the most winning woman to ever play the game.
That documentary has got me pumped.
It's going to be awesome.
Pumped to watch that. Hole 8. Here we go. Just talking about this a minute ago. A very short par 4, but man, for something that feels so wide open, it is a tricky little bugger to get. You have to get way left. You got to hit this gap. It's got to move so far to left. And if you don't, your approaches are pretty much limited to a huge backhand turnover. It is very specific. For 500 feet, you just got to hit this initial gap.
And that is the typical mistake, is hitting that a little too high, coming out with the hyzer flip, lifts the disc into that branch, and that's going to be, I'm not going to say he can't birdie from there, because I've seen some crazy stuff been done on this hole. But it's going to be very, very, very difficult.
You can't get left enough unless you have the height, so you're going to hit that branch more times than not. And I heard rumor about the backhand roller here. And how's it working?
Pretty good.
And you know, I don't care about being in the high grass. If you're far left, you're in a good spot. You can make things work from there.
Yeah, I like it back there into the high grass. You open up the angle, because as you push deeper, this is a pretty good shot. But if this gets any deeper than that, it's a great skip. But that little cedar you can see in the corner of the screen, really going to obstruct you. And Corey, obviously, I know what's going to happen because I was on this card. There's no birdies happening. He had a horrible kick, and he had to just pitch straight out. And I would say he's still got 400 feet of power at least to get up this hill.
This has got a great initial angle to it. Is it going to keep? Oh my gosh, yes, it does.
He almost made it, I think.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy from down there.
What a throw from Corey. He's on fire right now. And back to your shot. I mean, I'm giving up distance for the angle on this hole every time because it's not out of range at all once you get over the hill.
No, where I was is not. I mean, that felt like
That's a 10 out of 10 getting up and
pretty easy to get up there. Yeah.
down. Yep.
Yeah, the only reason I said that Corey had a chance.
Oh my gosh. Simon's just
This
playing
needs it.
MTA right now and then getting caught up with those back trees, which is pretty much the main bunker that you're trying to avoid on your way to the pin.
But I was playing with one named Drew Gibson today, and he hit the high branch, kicked straight down, and then threw roller up there and made it.
Yeah, I get him. If he hadn't, if Corey hadn't kicked into the woods, like where he's neck deep, I totally agree with you. I mean, he would have the power to get up there.
Simon with no look having to lay it up. Presnell with a really good approach. He's going to have a tap-in birdie. And that is just a solid scramble from just absolutely nothing.
Yeah, incredible save. I mean, to use a shot, your second shot went 50 feet.
Sideways.
Yeah, incredible.
Second easiest hole in the course, but it can get you if you get out of position.
I'm,
Our card able to
I'm
play
guessing
under par.
that's because not a lot of people had bogeys.
Yeah, it's not.
You know?
It's hard to take a big score on that hole. There was only one score over bogey for the day.
Oh, wow.
Hole 9, par 3, 563 downhill. You can't quite see the basket from the tee. Just need to throw a disc on hyzer that's going to stand up as it flies and try to pound it into that hill in the back if you've got enough power to do so.
Which you do.
Not on this shot
But
right
you
here.
do. I mean,
I can, but I didn't right here. I think it's probably a good catch by that tree.
when we played this one, we were pleasantly surprised to see that you had put it 20 feet away or so. And that's nearly the shape. Just that's the big prominent tree. You just have to pick a side. There are some ways to get around it on the right side, but most people are going to probably try to flip up this inside out type of shape, but this is heading way left.
Probably another good little tree.
Yeah.
This is just so long to shape this type of throw. Simon's going to try to take his chances on the right side, I believe.
Another thing about that hole is there was a right to left crosswind. So the higher you put it up there, the more left it's going to go. That's why I feel like all of you guys went way left. And the only way you're going to do it is if you get your disc on turn, but then it drops like you saw Simon's did right there. Like it starts dropping. And so it's a really tricky shot at that distance to get anything accurate enough to get to that.
Yeah, it was a dangerous hole today, and we had to wait quite a while because the two groups in front of us, Joel Freeman actually lost a disc here and had to walk all the way back up to the tee pad.
Man.
So if you drift way left, I mean, things could get bad quick.
Simon with his birdie bid a little low. Even though the rock wall kind of protects the disc from rolling away, it certainly could still get up and go.
Oh, man.
I didn't know that was about to happen, but
That was a laser, too.
this could be obstructed with the early trees. He's got a pretty open look. And
I think a built-up little rock green like that, I love them. I think that it looks fantastic. But in terms of rollaways, I think it causes at least as many as it saves.
Yeah, I
And
can
not
see
that
that.
that's a bad thing.
no, certainly looks really cool. And that par putt gets over the rim and is in.
Little sneaker.
Good little 4 under front 9. I could see a little pep in the step as you run over to the
Yeah,
10th tee.
thinking about putting together a 9 under back 9 and really setting this thing off.
Said no one ever.
I think every one of the best players in the world could play here every single day, and I don't know if anyone's ever shooting a 9 under. In the
And
back
we'd
nine.
all look like Ezra after the end of that year.
We'll take a look at the front 9. Oh, surprise, surprise. Kyle Klein, the guy who just came up 1 stroke short last year in 2021. He is off to a great start, and as is Paul Macbeth, Casey White, and I want to give a quick shout out to Chandler Kramer, who birdied the last hole, as well as 9% of the field, but he's a forehand guy. that hole, 569 foot with a forehand, is ridiculous.
I played with him. I got to see it firsthand, and it was a boomer. And
oh man, how close was the putt?
He made it outside the
It was outside the circle, but the shot was perfect,
Awesome.
and it had plenty of power. I mean, it was great.
Thank you guys so much, especially to the Founders Club for their support of our coverage. Thank you to all the tournament sponsors for bringing us this amazing event. We're going to be right back with the back nine from the Discraft Great Lakes Open.